and welcome to this short introduction to yoga. This is a video for anybody who has no experience in yoga and would really like to start from the very beginning and begin a safe, long-lasting practice that's going to give you holistic health, good energy, flexibility, mobility and strength in due time, but safely and properly first. So to begin, I want you to sit in a cross-legged position, but observe how I'm crossing my legs. I have one foot in front of the other shin and one foot behind the other calf. Now this is a much safer way for us to cross the legs that keeps the hips nice and balanced. Try to sit up nice and straight. If you're rounding out through the lower back, you can always take a cushion or a brick, something that you can put under the bum to try to encourage the rolling of the pelvis slightly forward if it's rocking back. Now, if it's pinching right forward and you're finding you're arching the lumbar spine, then you really want to find that neutral place, somewhere in between where you're balancing the head over the shoulders and the shoulders over the hips. So just becoming aware of exactly how you're sitting is one of the key elements of yoga. Becoming aware of your body in a space. So that's the first thing. The next thing, whichever leg that you crossed in front automatically, just go ahead and switch it over. Because the other thing that we really want to focus on in our yoga is that we are creating balance in the body. So we're choosing to bring awareness into our habits and then bring into consciousness what we've been doing unconsciously. So after you've found that easy cross-seated position, sitting up nice and tall, you can imagine that someone is drawing the top of your head up towards the sky or the ceiling, and that you're rooted down equally through both sit bones, almost like there are roots from you going into the ground. Then placing the hands palm down on the knees, letting the elbows rest into the body. So become aware if when I ask you to put your hands on your knees, did the shoulders come up and the elbows come out? It's okay, me too, for years. But just to become gently aware of that and see if you can release, see if you can ask them to let go on your breath. Exhale, release the elbows in. Take a circle with the shoulders up to the ears if they're not already there. And exhale, roll them back. Chin should be nice and level with the ground. And we're going to begin some breathing. One of the really important things when we're practicing yoga is to stay connected to the breath. Or we may as well just do some stretches or make some shapes. But what we really want to do is bring harmony to our mind and body, finding that deep peace feeling, but also the breath can really teach us how to move the body correctly, as well as create space in the body and cause flexibility. So if you want, you can gently close the eyes or you can keep them open. Exhale everything out from the lungs on your next breath. And now as you breathe and you inhale, imagine the air coming up through the nostrils, down the windpipe and in through the lungs, and opening, widening out the belly. See if you can round out through the belly, warm and widen through the toilet organs. And as you exhale, imagine that you're drawing in and up almost from between the inner thighs, zipping the belly button in and up the front line of the body. Let it wave the spine upright, then settling the shoulders. Finally, as it makes its way up the spine, inhaling, visualizing the breath getting right down to your tailbone. Fill the belly, and as you exhale, pulling in and up gently without squeezing, just visualize that you're pulling in and up from between the thighs, hugging the toilet organs in and up. Belly button is zipping up like you're zipping up a nice tight pair of jeans. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring up and out. We want everything drawing into that midline. And taking a few breaths like that for yourself now. Become mindful if in the focusing on your breath, the elbows came back out or the shoulders came up. Be gentle with yourself. Allow a soft smile on the face if that did happen. It's totally normal that those things happen unconsciously, but we're going to bring our awareness into it and invite them to release on the exhale. Just take 2 more breaths now, filling the belly on the inhale, drawing in and up on the exhale. 1 more. Trying to fill the bottom of the lungs and ignite the core line. We're going to start to synchronize our breath with the movement. And all we're going to do to start is inhale, circle the arms up, bring them up in line with the shoulders. The hands can come to touch, but if not, just in line with the shoulders is fine. Now keeping them here, again, let's bring that awareness in. Are the arms right back or right forward? Are the shoulders coming up too? See if you can reach the fingertips up, but send the shoulders down the back. Now if the arms are coming forward, maybe there's some rounding of the shoulders and we can't force them back, but we can become aware. Think about lifting the chest, lifting up through the back of the neck. Staying with your yoga breathing, stay here with it. Feel the connection of your sit bones to the ground, rooting you down, and a reaching up of your fingertips that's pulling you up. So this is another really important element in yoga. If we have this opposition in the body, we're stretching in two directions. Inhale, lengthening, and as you exhale, flip the palms and very slowly bring the hands down to the side of the body while you empty the lungs. Getting your hands down in the perfect timing for emptying your lungs. Everything is gone right at the moment the fingertips touch. And maybe it wasn't perfect this time, but that's the idea, bringing that awareness. So let's inhale, bring them up, and exhale, nice and slow and controlled, trying to get the fingertips down at the same time as you run out of air as slowly as possible. One more time. And flipping the palms, exhale, synchronizing the movement with the breath. Excellent. Good job. And the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to take the neck around in some circles. Inhale, lifting up the nose, and exhale, bringing the chin towards the chest. And again, we're just bringing our awareness into this range of motion. Don't do it too fast, don't throw the head back, you can close the eyes gently. See if there are any spaces in which your circle is not whole and complete. And with a gentle love and compassion, see if you can maybe pause there. Breathe a little extra life. Give a little extra exhale to it, and then continue on. And then bring it around in the other direction. This time gently bring your awareness to any differences in this side from the other. It's totally normal as we begin our practice to have imbalances. And just with gentle awareness, becoming aware of that, breathing into it, pausing in any spaces you need to, and then letting go. Carrying on with this journey of self-discovery, and then finding neutral, chin nice and level with the ground, looking straight out ahead. And go ahead, we'll come into tabletop position just to go through a few different alignment postures as a brief introduction, just some things that you can be thinking about as you get into your yoga practice. So when we come into tabletop position, we want to get the wrists underneath the shoulders, the feet in line with the hips. We don't want the toes pigeoning. This happens a lot. Try not to squeeze or clench the toes. Bring the fingers down nice and wide and splayed. Nice flat back, draw the belly button in towards the spine. And then just take a little rock for me from one hand to the other, just so that you can start to bring your awareness into the palm of your hand. Again, finding any areas in which you don't seem to place the weight, or you're placing a little bit more weight from one side to the other. Just see if gently you can bring a little bit more balance into it. Bring it around in a circle, circling around on the wrists, and then circling around in the other direction. And then finding stillness. We'll go for a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, looping the shoulders back, lifting the tailbone and the eye line up. Again, don't throw the head back. It doesn't need to be extreme. Exhale, we can press the ground away. Start to round up through the shoulders, like someone's pulling your heart between your shoulders up to the sky. Tuck the tailbone and the chin last. Keeping that movement going, synchronizing to the breath. Inhaling as we lift the chest and the tailbone. You can even think about pushing the thigh bone to the outer edges of the hip socket to stop it from caving in and get nice and strong on the outside of the hips. Exhaling, press the fingertips down too to protect the wrists. Coming into that posture where we round through the back. One more time for yourself. Exploring the range of motion in the spine, bringing life, vitality into these joints. And then find neutral. And we're going to come into down dog. So just bring the hands out in front. Make sure they're still in line with the shoulders. Again, become aware. Do you think your shoulders are out here? Oh, they're not. So find where your shoulders really are. Tuck the toes behind you. And then on the exhale, we're going to lift the hips up. We're pressing the chest towards the legs. Try to keep the shoulders broad and bring your eye line looking between the ankles. For example, now you can walk the feet together a little bit. You do not need to force the heels down to the ground. In fact, keeping the heels up can cause a good rotation of the pelvis forward, which is what we want in this posture. We want a nice long neck, aiming the crown of the head towards the mat and trying to reach the tailbone up towards the sky.
push the ground away from you with the hands, rooting down through the index finger knuckle and the thumb. Fingers are staying nice and wide, and as you push the ground away, it's going to open up your shoulder space and stop this hunching up to the ears that we don't want. We want nice, healthy space. Now that you've found your shape and you're content with your shape, you can play with bending and straightening one knee at a time, drawing the knee in towards the belly and then sending the heel down towards the ground. Try to keep the hips nice and still, oscillating the thigh bone in the hip socket. Do that for a few breaths. Stay with that yoga breathing in through the nose. Warm and widen the belly and exhale, drawing in and up. Find stillness for a few breaths. 1. Keep pushing the ground away from you. Keep looking between the ankles. 2. And then rolling the thighs in towards each other might help. And 1. From here, gently lower down onto the knees. Bring the knees out as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Go ahead, bring your bum onto the heels, extend the arms forward, rest the forehead down, coming into child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, and here we want to be reaching the fingertips forward slightly, but simultaneously sending the shoulders back down the spine, down the back, sorry. And that's because we want to be stretching in 2 directions. We don't want all of the tissues and muscles all heading forward. We want the fingers reaching forward, the shoulders reaching back. The sit bones heading towards the heels and sinking the chest in towards the mat. It can be nice here to bring your awareness into areas in which your body is touching. For example, when you inhale, you fill the belly. Perhaps you can feel it up against the thighs. Also bringing awareness into where your body is touching the ground. Letting the ground support you a little bit more with each exhale, surrendering to the support of the earth. Take one more breath for yourself here. And then gently press into the hands. Walk the hands in towards the body, slowly bringing the head upright. Again, finding that easy cross for me. This time bringing the opposite foot that was in front before in front. Place the hands down, find that nice posture again, balancing the head over the bowl of the pelvis, shoulders down. This was a brief introduction just to give you an example of a few things that are important as we go through our yoga practice. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more, I'm offering 3 20-minute classes where we'll go through most of the popular postures that you will find in a vinyasa, ashtanga class or a hatha class. That's going to give you a really grounded, supported feeling when you're doing your yoga practice to know that you're safe and that this is something that you can do for a long time, getting all of the holistic health from it, as well as enjoying a really fun practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.